Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk about the spiritual awakening journey. The spiritual awakening journey, if you are somebody who has been going through it, you know that it's not an easy process. It's one of the most disconcerting experience that a soul might go through. I'm not saying that people who do not go through the spiritual awakening journey do not experience challenges in their life, do not experience disharmony in their life, do not experience suffering in their life. But the moment a soul goes through the spiritual awakening process, they go through something so alien, so unused to, that it turns their life entirely upside down. So, if you are somebody who is going through the spiritual awakening journey, maybe you are going through the spiritual awakening process and you are also experiencing the disorientation, the disharmony, the complete disconnect with your life, with your reality, the meaninglessness, the purposelessness, and experiencing just a lot of imbalance within and outside of yourself, then maybe this video is going to help you find some strong footing within yourself, because maybe this is precisely what you need. Because when I was going through my own spiritual awakening process, for a very long time, I was spiraling. I was spiraling and I was spiraling. And it was very destabilizing. The spiritual awakening process is destabilizing. So you must have something that you can fall back into when you are going through this massive inner existential storm, which is what I'm going to try to guide you towards in this video. So let's begin. So, the existential storm, when it is upon you, what do you hold on to? Many people try to grab hold of their belief systems, their religion, or anything that they believe that is going to help them to navigate this dismantling of the inner structures that happens when one is going through the spiritual awakening process. But you see the paradox here. The spiritual awakening process is almost always is about dismantling of the inner structures. You see? And therein lies the challenge. That is, if the spiritual awakening process is about the dismantling of the inner structures, it's the dismantling of your belief systems, is the dismantling of your perspective of life, it's the dismantling of many, many things. Now, all of those things may not come to you all at once. Most often it doesn't. And that is how the process is. But nevertheless, the spiritual awakening process is a dismantling process. It's a de-shedding process. That means you are going to find the the very things that were part of your ground, your solid ground underneath your feet. Maybe it was your belief system. Maybe it was a certain logical construct through which you perceived life, you know, and that helped you to ground yourself in existence. Now, once the spiritual awakening storm begins, the dismantling process begins, you are going to often find that those very things that were your solid ground, that will be shaken. And you will find yourself falling. And when you find yourself falling, you try to grab onto anything that might stop your falling process. But that is where you are going to find that nothing will hold you. The more you try to grab onto a log or grab onto a box or something as you are being taken away by the currents of the existential storm, nothing is going to actually support your weight. And that was me for a very long time during my dark night of the soul processes, which lasted for quite a few years. I found myself spiraling and spiraling and spiraling and trying to hold on to things and trying to find out things maybe that will help me stop the spiraling process. And nothing worked, apparently, because the part of the process is the dismantling itself. And when one is going through it is very, very difficult. It is very difficult. So those of you who are going through the dismantling process, you might be experiencing a lot of inner chaos. You might be finding yourself going through what one might call the ego death, where a certain aspect of your identity itself is being questioned, itself is dissolving. And you are finding yourself in this liminal phase, this in-between transitional phase where you know that the old version is not you, but you have not found a new version yet. And that is a very, very disorienting place to be. No kidding. And that is why this is something that I want to give to you. Because for those of you who are going through this, what you're trying to do is you're trying to hold on to things. Like I said, therein lies the paradox. If the spiritual awakening process is the dismantling process, the process itself does not want you to hold on to anything, let's say, metaphorically physical. When I'm saying physical, I do not mean physical as in like physical. I'm talking about anything that you can actually hold on to, even intellectually, like a logical construct or a belief system or an ideology or anything else, because it won't support it. Because the very purpose is that you come to a place where you can allow your falling to happen in a harmonious way. You see, this is the intention of the spiritual awakening process, that you allow yourself to be in a constant falling state, but also be in harmony, which scares, which scares the ego, you know, or the limited ego, I would say that, the ego that doesn't have a clue about how to exist in that kind of a state. And this is where surrendering comes in. This is where letting go comes in. This is where relaxing comes in. Surrendering, letting go, relax. All these three words are basically pointers towards just one essential state of being, which is the state of being of non-holding. Now people would intellectualize non-holding with non-attachment and detachment and all sorts of things, and will try to make a process out of it. In trying to make a process out of it, they will start doing things. In trying to do things, they will undo the very things that the pointer is towards. That is why this path gets very, very crazy. So what am I asking you to do is to stop trying to do something. Now you'll be thinking like, that is crazy. How do you go about not doing something? And this is the simplest thing. And yet it's not the easiest thing to arrive at, which is relaxation. You see, whenever you relax, now I want you to pay attention. I don't want you to pay attention to my words. I want you to calibrate to my state of being as I'm going to speak a few words. Not my words, but what you're going to feel. Because therein lies the state of being that your spiritual awakening is taking you towards. Relax. 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 When I say these words, beyond my words, you can hear, or you can rather feel, that my state of being is relaxing. There's a deliberate letting go that is happening. Am I doing something? Yes. I'm trying to undo. I'm trying to let go. Let go of the constant fight with this present moment. That is what I'm trying to do. But how do you stop fighting? By relaxing. So you relax. Relax. As you relax, you are going to notice that what relaxation is pointing you towards is falling back into the present moment experience. Falling back into the present moment experience. As you fall back into the present moment experience, you will notice that this present moment is just trying to happen. Through all its disharmony, through all the chaos, through all the different kinds of experiences, this present moment is just trying to happen. That's all it's trying to do. And when you relax, you allow this present moment to happen. And that is the job. That is the entire job. If you can just do that, the spiritual awakening process will happen harmoniously for you. Just relax into your present moment experience. That's all I wanted to share. So, if you have resonated with what I have shared with you in this video, do leave a comment. And starting from February 1st, 2026, I will be sharing a series of 7 newsletters to my newsreaders, where I'll be sharing about how you can tune into the intelligence of your own body. If you're somebody who's going through chronic fatigue, exhaustion, dysregulation, then it's time that you pay attention to the intelligence of your own body. And that is precisely what I'm going to talk about in this free 7 newsletter series. If you want to partake in that experience, sign up for my newsletters. Link is in the description of this video. And if you have enjoyed this video, to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what has resonated with you. So I wish you a wonderful day ahead and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.